Shears here with Blue Shield Tactical Systems. Today we're going to talk about characteristics of a good FTO and the FTO program, the kind of the ins and outs of it. You know, if you've been doing it a long time, and sadly, you know, the ones that probably need it won't continue to watch the video. But the first thing we're talking about is knowledge. Knowledge of being an FTO. That means department procedures, penal code, ordinances, forms that are within the agency. There should be some type of testing that's going on to be an FTO. Sadly, sometimes what we see is officers have been a police officer for 2 years, and some of the veteran officers are not becoming FTOs and understanding that they're shaping that agency by being an FTO. So, number 2, patience. Guys, the FTO program is there for mistakes to be made. It's to mold them into the officer that they're going to be having a lot of exposure from different officers, different FTOs within your agency. And so you have to be patient and understand that they're going to make mistakes. That's what the program is for. So don't expect those individuals to come out of the academy and be police officers. Yeah, they've taken a state test, but they do not understand yet how to be a police officer. So that FTO program is for that. So they're going to make those mistakes. Be patient with them. Be kind. That's our next one. Be kind. You know, that's something we shouldn't even have to talk about. But the problem that we're seeing within a lot of programs is we have individuals there with egos that maybe they were mistreated within their own FTO program, and now they're carrying on that same abuse of those new officers that are coming within that department. Understand that your city has spent probably $100,000 or more on those individuals by the time they get out of the academy, going to the FTO programs. It is not your job as an FTO to get rid of those individuals. It is your job to encourage them. It is your job to train them. But unfortunately, we have some of the mindsets sometimes within FTO programs that say, hey, my job is to weed them out. And I've heard everything from, I don't care, they're kind of weird, you know, I don't like them. It doesn't matter if you don't like them. Your job is to train them. So understand being kind. Something our mamas should have taught us, right? Just to be kind to each other. But we're not seeing that in some of the training programs. And if you have a progressive program that's out there that's doing some of the things that I'm talking about, good for you. But if you as an individual find yourself cursing at your recruit, yelling at them, I can correct the problem without having to yell at a recruit officer. There's no reason for me to have to yell at them, unless it's an emergency situation where I'm yelling at them to, hey, get over here because it's dangerous for them. But if I'm correcting them, I want their input. Why did they do something? I'm not going to tell them, hey, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did that wrong. I'm going to say, this is what you did. Why did you do it? So now they're giving me some input because the reason they did it may be totally valid. Or they may say, I don't know, I didn't know how to do it. So being kind to them, not separating them. You know, I've seen programs where they even had them to stand at the back of the room, a new officer, and not sit down until the other officer sat down. That's a real welcoming environment for our new officers who are coming with our agencies, isn't it? Should we be separating them that way? I say we shouldn't. You can agree or disagree and not watch the video, and that's fine. Or leave a comment. Be encouraging. That's the next one. Be encouraging of those officers. More praise of them. When they do something well, encourage them. Say, hey, I am here to help you. That is my job. I'm not here to get rid of you. The city spent a lot of money on you. It doesn't matter whether or not you like me or I like you. It's my job is to get you where you need to be a police officer. And if we start going into that with that mindset, we're going to be much more successful. Because I've heard now, they say, well, the generation that we're dealing with now, that's the reason why we're not getting good candidates. If you're having a high turnover rate within your FTO program, you need to start looking at your FTOs. You need to start looking at your FTO program, how it's structured. Unfortunately, there are a lot of programs out there that teach you the forms of being an FTO. What should you write down? Those type of things. But they don't teach you how to interact with your recruit. How you should structure your behavior. And sometimes what we're having is those officers out there with egos that are just being downright abusive to those recruits, and we wonder why they fall out or they don't improve. It's because that environment is not structured for them to improve. So we really have to start looking at that as well. FTO is not on hiring boards. I think that this is something we should start looking at as well, because you have FTOs who already have a presumptive mindset toward this individual because they were on the hiring board. And they say, well, I didn't want to hire him. And so they go into that sometimes with a bias towards that person that they didn't think should be hired. I think that there should not be FTOs or anyone to do with the actual training or the training of that individual that's going to be on that board. And for that reason. And you can say, well, it helps us to know whether or not they're going to be a good police officer. I think there's officers in your agency that can do that. It doesn't have to be FTOs every time. Or what happens is quite the opposite. We have one that was very supportive of that individual during the hiring board. And they say, well, I thought they were great. And the other one said, well, no, I didn't think they were great. So that FTO may do everything they can to show them that they were right. So guys, I hope you've taken a little bit from this short video. Again, be knowledgeable of your procedures. Be patient with those individuals. Again, be kind. There's no reason to be mean to them. There's no reason to separate them from the group. Welcome them to the agency. Understand we're supposed to be a brotherhood. We are supposed to be nice to each other, but sometimes we find out that that's not the case. Be encouraging of those individuals. I teach instructors on a regular basis, and I tell them, praise much more than you critique. Because trust me, those recruits are critiquing themselves much more than you are. And you'll find that out. Again, the millennials, the new generation. Guys, our parents had problems with us as well and thought that our generation wasn't going to be as good as theirs. So understand, it's not a generational thing really. FTOs on the board. Again, make sure that I think it's something to start looking at, start to consider. Guys, I appreciate you taking time to watch our videos. Log on to blueshieldtactical.com to see our upcoming courses. We have our de-escalation courses and, of course, all of our defensive tactics courses. Thanks. Have a great week.